Welcome back to Ithaca BJJ. If you've ever had trouble finishing the cross-collar choke, today we'll show you some tricks that can increase your success tenfold. Let's get started. First, we start from the mount position. To prevent John from sweeping him to the opposite side, Professor Matt shifts his weight to his left and sits heavy on that leg. After securing that first grip. Now, if you try to go under that top arm, your opponent may block as John is doing here. So instead, he goes over to secure the choke, grabbing the near side trap, making sure his wrist is wrapped snugly around the jugular. Now, alternatively, you can use the Rahadra Gracie method. Use your elbow to move your opponent's head, and expose the neck. This creates space to get your thumb inside the lapel, making the choke much tighter. I find this method more effective than going over the top. Finally, bring your head toward the mat, like this, to apply pressure and get the tap. Now, whether you use the thumb in grip or not, as Professor Matt explains here, the first hand should have all 4 fingers inside the lapel. Here, we see Brian and Matt Knight drilling this choke. Notice how Brian struggles until he secures the 4-finger grip. So he changes up his grip here. This adjustment makes the choke much tighter. And the effect is almost immediate. Here it is from another angle. So now we go from inside the guard. The grip is the same. Fingers in on both sides of the neck. Use your feet, arms, and core to pull your opponent in and secure the choke. Right there. Notice how deep that hand is inside of John's lapel, almost toward the back of his neck. Same thing here. Deep, near the back of the neck. Now here's a little quick defense info. Before your opponent gets that second arm in, you can rotate your head to the opposite side or bring your hand in to block your neck, covering your ear. But you need to do that immediately as soon as that first grip is established. Now back to the choke. He gets the first hand in nice and deep. Aims towards the back of the neck. If your opponent tries to block, place your feet on their hips to stretch them out as you tighten the choke, just like this. This simple adjustment can dramatically improve the success of this choke. Now here's a word of caution from Professor Matt. Too often folks hold on to this choke too long or fight it too long, and they pass out, as John admits here. Folks, know when to tap. And here we are, back to Brian and Matt Knight. Notice the foot placement on the hips and how he rotates his hips to sink in that choke. Again, fingers in deep, almost near the back of the neck on both sides. Feet on the hips, and there's the tap. Now this is an interesting one. This is a common position we find ourselves in when we're going for the knee cut pass. Notice the grip on the sleeve and the lapel. Bomber tries to turn into Professor Matt, but Matt uses his forearm and elbow to pin him down. You can even stay here to apply top pressure and cook your opponent. but instead, Professor Matt reaches across to the other side of the neck. This often surprises the person on the bottom as they're looking for a knee cut pass, not a choke. Now pull them in as you move your head to the opposite side. And there's the tap. Next, from side control. Slide your thumb in to that lapel and get straight to knee on belly. Pull the lapel open a bit, creating space to get all 4 fingers inside. When you pull up on that lapel, it opens up that space. And here's a pro tip. As you're pulling up on that lapel, press down with your knee to apply maximum pressure. And now get your other thumb in and transition to the other side. Even if they grab your arm to defend, it won't help. Simply move your head to the opposite side and squeeze. Now sometimes you can fake out your opponent, especially if they're focused on defending the choke. From mount, you're going to shift your weight to avoid getting swept, as before. We're going to watch Professor Matt set up the arm lock as John defends the choke. Now notice here, Professor Matt opens John's elbow with his hip. There's the fight against the choke. Now here comes that arm opener. Notice how he presses his hip into John's elbow. This opens the arm up in preparation for an armbar. So instead of going for the neck, Professor Matt plants his hand on the mat beyond John's head and lifts his hip to trap the arm. Let's see it from another angle. The first hand goes inside, 4 fingers in, and Professor Matt shifts his weight. There. And to prevent the leg from getting caught, keep your heel close to the opponent's leg and stay heavy on the other side. And from here, you're going to transition to a traditional S mount and shifting your weight onto their chest. Next, you're going to hook the arm, going elbow to elbow, common technique to set up the armbar, and lift. From here, you can sit back to finish the armbar. Now, if they defend by crossing their arms, which is common, they're setting this up so that they can remove your leg. Simply move your leg, and then you can break their grip. So there's John, with those arms crossed. Professor Matt moves the arm, moves the leg, breaks the grip, then places the leg back on his face. To break the grip completely, thread your arm through and over their wrist, as he does here. And with the gable grip, pull back on the arm. If it's too tight and that doesn't work, work their arm to the side to finish the armbar. And there you have it, folks. With these simple adjustments, you're well on your way to mastering the cross-collar choke. And if they fight too hard, set them up for that nasty armbar. and check out this next video that YouTube thinks you'll like. And please remember to like and subscribe.